actors or movies or TV show, whatever, that originally, anything specific that originally made you want to get into theater?
That's a good question. When I was young, I really was a big fan of Gene Kelly. My parents, we had an old Betamax, can you believe it? And it had like all these MGM musicals on Beta. And so I would watch American in Paris, and Singing in the Rain. And I thought Gene Kelly was the man. I thought, the sort of triple threat of the actor, singer, dancer, and the fact that he was like athletic about it, like Fred Astaire was fantastic and he was amazing, but there was something about Gene Kelly like swinging from ropes like Tarzan or something, it sort of really appealed to me. So that's who I initially modeled myself after, was Gene Kelly. And, excuse me. And so that's sort of all through high school. I was acting, singing, and dancing. In college, I sang in an a cappella group. And then eventually I trained in opera, so I'm a classically trained opera singer and whatnot. And I took ballet and African dance and swing and everything. So yeah, that was sort of my deal. But I think a lot of it came from those old MGM musicals.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hello.
Hi.
I have a question about the Kai Kingdom, actually.
Yes.
Did you ever get tired of saying that you were the most badass freaking overlord of the cosmos?
Would you ever get tired?
No.
Okay.
The other question is, what is the weirdest line that you've ever had to do in all of your acting and voice acting career?
Well, initially it was the line from Utena that Toga says when he sees Utena for the first time and says, "Oh yes, baby. You certainly lit the fire in my heart." And I was like, really? Is that really what it says in the Japanese? I really ran it back and played it, and it was like, baby. I was like, okay, he's saying baby. All right, roll it. But then the weirdest one, I actually made it myself. It was on Dot Hack, and there's a scene at the end. I think it's the end of the TV show or one of the OVAs. It's hard for me to keep track. There's so many versions. But when I'm playing Lord Balmung, and he comes in, and there's a big party, and like every character is in the party, and the line was something about like, "Oh, this party is really swinging" or something. And I was like, "What is this line?" And they said, "Well, we're trying to make Lord Balmung sound sort of dorky, and so we need him to look at this party and say something stupid that would be embarrassing." And I was looking at the lip flap, and it's going, I go, "Oh, I got it, roll it." And they're like, "Beep, beep, beep." I was like, "This shindig is the bomb diggity."
Would you consider yourself the anti-Rob Pattinson?
I'm gonna be embarrassed. Who's Rob Pattinson?
Edward Cullen from Twilight.
Oh! Oh, him! You mean the fairy that sparkles? What's wrong with fairies? You look like a Tinkerbell outfit, right?
Thank you very much.
You bet.
We love you more now!
I think I killed the princess in the second row.
Someone resuscitate her.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Amy. I'm a huge fan of yours. I actually was first introduced to your voice rolling out as, I guess, a more obscure role. You were Albel in Star Wars Season 3. And I really enjoyed your voice work in that one. I guess two questions. The first one's kind of weird. Are you by any chance playing anyone in the City of Final Fantasy? By any chance?
The City of Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's it's a fighting game of the Final Fantasy series, and they're casting like a bunch of people. So I had no one knows who half the cast is.
Oh, so they're still casting now?
No, I guess they finished casting, but they're not revealing it because they're like...
Never. This is the thing, and just so you guys know, the video game people are like worse than the CIA. No, seriously. Like when a film is going to get, we know the cast of a Hollywood film like 6 months before they even start shooting, right?
Yeah.
On video games, I did video games, and when I did Superman for Justice League Heroes, I recorded that and then couldn't talk about it for like 6 months. Like they don't want anyone to know. So even if, I will honestly say I haven't heard anything about it. So if there's if Rude is in some Final Fantasy thing, they tend to call me back to play him, because, it's good. But honestly, even if I was cast in it, I couldn't tell you because they'd kill me.
Oh.
No, seriously. I mean, like, I can't even audition for video games now without signing a non-disclosure agreement that I won't say anything about Halo. I mean, it's like, I mean, I'm in Halo Wars, the strategy game. I play one of the Spartans, and you would have thought they were going to take my first child if I said anything about being in this game, so sorry.
Second question. My friend told me when he found out that you were going to be a guest here, he said that you are awesome when it comes to speaking about the industry and just where it's going and what you think of it. So I wanted to ask
Oh, where the industry is going?
Yeah, like where the anime industry is going, how you perceive things.
The anime industry is in a really tough place. Sales are way, way down. The companies are really struggling to try to figure out how to get their artists paid, because a lot of people don't want to pay for anime. And if the companies don't get paid, the companies can't pay the people who are animating. I saw some really bad statistic about how little animators get paid, and they basically live below the poverty line in Japan, and they live at home with their parents because they can't do it any other way. And it's just, it's bad. There's a lot of different reasons for it, and I don't want to get too deep into it because we'll all get depressed. But anime economically, financially, anime is in a really bad way. And it's odd to many people because they'll see an event like this and there's so many fans. And there are more and more fans at each anime convention. But I know that Kenny Adomi over at Bandai, who's here at Otakon, producer, was saying they're selling half as many DVDs now as they sold in 2000. Wow. And yet the conventions are twice as many attendance. So there's just, that's untenable. That's not sustainable. So I'm working on very little anime shows, very few. There's just not much coming down the pike, and most of the anime studios that I work at are doing video games, because video games pay a lot better. And there's lots of different reasons for that, but yeah, so the industry could be better. But the animation industry is cyclical. It has its ups and its downs. And actually, if you ask Tony Oliver about that, who's here, he'll tell you that, because he's been there through a lot of the curves. So hopefully, we're just sort of on a down cycle, and hopefully there'll be some way to pick it back out. But everyone's struggling in the entertainment industry because everyone wants to get their music and their movies for free. And it's hard to get paid when everyone wants it for free. So, and to find a way to make it so that artists can get paid for their work, it's a challenge. And everyone's struggling with that, so.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Happy, happy, happy!
I just want to say I'm a fan of yours. I've been a fan since I saw you on Witch Hunter Robin.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to ask you one question. What is your greatest inspiration as a voice actor?
My greatest inspiration I have to say right now, Brother Theodore. No one knows it. I love it. How many of you have seen the original animated Hobbit movie?
Yes!
Okay. Do you remember the guy who played Gollum?
Yes!
Right? My precious. That was this crazy German Jew named Brother Theodore. I encourage you to go on YouTube and look him up, because he used to be a guest on David Letterman back in the day. He was so scary. And the voices in The Hobbit were so perfect that I think is one of my big inspirations. When I go back and look at voice acting, because I never planned on being a voice actor. I just loved animation, and I couldn't draw, and I was in theater. And so it was like, but when I would go back and think about the characters that really are sort of in my head from animation that I watched as a child, that Hobbit, that animated Hobbit, was just so fantastic, and Brother Theodore was so terrifying. He's also in The Last Unicorn. He plays Rook, the guy who works for Mommy Fortuna. What the hell is that to stop for? And he's just like, who is is this dude? He was so great and crazy, like a fox. He was amazing.